Hello and welcome back to the English broadcast of the LPL. Now we are getting into our second game between LGD and Vici. Now LGD obviously crushed at game 1, but hopefully Vici, irrespective of that game 1 crushing defeat, are able to take this game 2.
Yeah, hopefully. We had a bet. We had to try to use the word irrespective as quickly as possible, but the cheating is that Post was the host and he was going to intro and he got it first.
Crushed it.
Yes, but ultimately, I believe that this is going to be a 2-0 just from what we've seen already, because it feels like LGD have a great read on the win conditions for Vici Gaming, which does go back to Swift. Now, Swift can change it up, as can Vici. They can try to give more power into Audi into the early game, putting him on something like the Aatrox, or a pick that's more about controlling the lane phase, or they can move away from the Nocturne, who is also fairly slow to start in terms of his jungle pathing. I think leaving the Taliyah open was probably the most egregious mistake. I'd like to see Vici shore that one up almost immediately and hit the ban bench.
So what pick do you want to see out from Swift? Because I'm in alignment with you. I do think the Nocturne was a little bit slow, while it's still a good pick for Swift.
I mean, and it's not just a good pick for Swift. We see it globally just thrashing around the world. So I'm still really high up on the Nocturne, just not when Taliyah is also available and not when it feels like LGD had such a good read. Because to make Nocturne work, you need to have strong laners. And frankly, even if Vici got superior matchups in a lot of their different lanes, or LGD managed to fumble and give them advantage, they're just not cohesive enough as a team or strong enough as a team to really protect Swift and make sure that he gets up on the right foot or set him up for success.
So here's my challenge, right? You then pick something that is solo capable, right?
Did that guy pay for 3 seats if he's going to have giant wings like that? I mean, when you
Possibly. I mean, like, if you're like, I just want to be able to chill on a flight, and why does so many Psyducks? I mean, I love it, but like, I don't know why.
Because it's LGD?
Okay.
If you want to pick a Pokemon for LGD, come on. It'd either be that or Wobbuffet.
But, okay, but there's like 3 teams in the LPL I would pick Psyduck for. Wobbuffet would be a great one too.
That is definitely.
I forgot what I was talking about. You distracted me, Frost. Yeah, solo junglers, someone who can be capable on their own. Like if you pick something like an Olaf, right, by himself, who's just like, I could just walk bot lane and just mess some people up.
I mean, theoretically, Nocturne should be able to do that. He's got great skirmish potential, his long-range reach, but
3-6.
Ultimately, he wanted the kill on the mid lane. He didn't get it, and it just felt like he got bled out from there. So maybe not necessarily an Olaf, although he could go that route. I'd really like to see something like a Xin Zhao. You know, something that can just walk into the river with so much priority, or preferably, if they don't want to ban the Taliyah and they're also on blue side again, for them to priority pick it.
I would like it. I mean, Vici banned Xin Zhao in that game 1, right? So they actually took it away from themselves, and LGD had picked the red side for the second game. No substitutions coming in as well on top of that. So there is a possibility if they want to prioritize the jungle once again, they could pick something like a Xin Zhao.
And just emphasizing this idea again that there are no substitutions coming in for Vici Gaming. So I feel like it's a bit of a leftover narrative. Everyone always grabs Easyhoon's name first when they think of Vici Gaming. Stop it. This is all about Swift now, and if they want to come back in the series, it has to start with him.
Yeah, Easyhoon who, honestly.
Firing
his... You got it. There we go. It was too low-hanging fruit. I respect it. Vici are going to take away the Nocturne on this one, as well as the Swain and Singe. On the opposite side, LGD will remove the Taliyah, love it, as well as the Camille and the Vladimir.
So this is a similar answer to the same problem. They said, okay, we lost control of the mid lane. Aurelia had the initial power spike on the Sheen buy. She could walk into the river whenever she want, and that bled over into Swift's control. So even though it's not a jungle priority like we were talking about, it still can feed into the same thing. But remember what I was talking about and how there's kind of 3 different metas, and one of them is the Aurelia meta? At the last second, they just grabbed the OP ADC open, but there we go. There's the Aurelia meta. Hello, Darius.
Yep, Darius comes in to meet it square on, as well as the Lucian as well. An exceptionally strong AD carry on this current meta. One of the ones that I still very much like to see. Can just ice skate all over the map once you have that Essence Reaver. However, we have been seeing some of them more Bladed Ruin King and Black Cleaver builds coming in from the Lucians when they are ahead.
So I would imagine at this point that they will lock in the Aatrox for Audi. He's really only shown 2 competent champions. I believe that Aatrox is by far and away his best looking champion, although he can look for things like the Jax from time to time. And I'd also like to see them lock in their jungler here. Again, I do not want Swift to go through secondary ban phase and continue to have his jungle pool pinched. And the reason why is I was just about to bring this up. I feel like Swift was going to go back to comfort. He is a signature Nidalee player. If you think about Nidalee players, you usually think about Peanut first and foremost, but Swift is not far down that list. And we talk about high tempo junglers that can get off on the right foot, impact the map very quickly. Nidalee is exactly what the doctor ordered.
I'm in. I like it. On the opposite side, LGD will look towards the Jax.
Have fun, Aatrox.
Yeah, have fun, Aatrox.
I mean, it's either that or it's Amy's Jax.
That's a possibility. That's what I was actually pausing and thinking about for a second. There's a potential for this one to be flexed up through the map.
Yeah, it's either Jin or Amy.
Exactly. Rakan will be the ban away here from Caveman. Going to be taking some of the playmaking potential away from him. I mean, the punish at level 2 was devastating in the bottom lane, so that will be taken away from him. Xin Zhao is going to be a removal from Amy here in the jungle.
It just makes me very curious what PYL is going to prioritize, especially if they continue to leverage support bans, because ultimately, coming out of Red side, they could just grab the other big OP engaging style type of support. So this could mean that PYL continues to go back towards the Alistar, that he feels most comfortable on it. They do have Lucian, so maybe he goes towards the Braum. They even had a little bit of a surprise Mordekaiser there that could technically still be a Lucian top or a Lucian mid, and we could still finish with Alistar Mordekaiser if we wanted to get really crazy.
That's true, yeah, and that can be flexed at the end as well. So this has actually been read. Yeah, the Alistar ban comes through, and Frosker and Smiles on the opposite side. Fiddlesticks was a takeaway from Caveman to double up on the support bans.
And I just think that Fiddlesticks has so much control built into his kit right now. His lane phase is also pretty significant. Champions that have slipped through ban phase that we've seen other teams prioritizing are the likes of Morgana and Karma, especially if you want a heavy invade style of jungle, which, you know, Olaf not super heavy. Okay, last minute swap.
Okay, I'll take it. We've got Skarner into the jungle now for Amy. And back over to Vici. Now, there's a hover over Ashe, and this is one of the few times I will talk about the hover, because we have actually seen this in the LPL so far, actually coming out of Uzi. Now, Uzi has just been a stickler for trying to stay out of this AD carry meta, and it makes sense, right? He's made an entire career on playing marksman.
But ultimately, when we saw RNG pull out the Ashe, and it's also had a lot of success in the LCK, as well as globally around the world, it was in tandem with things like the Tahm Kench. So, I really...
Hang on. Oh, sorry, it's not being locked. Continue.
I really like Ashe, especially because now she's itemizing towards the Blade of the Rune King as kind of the priority versus the old crit build. So I like the adaptations that have been made to make this pick work. She still has so much control, so much pick potential, and that's the real key for me. So there's the Tahm Kench we were talking about that unlocked the Ashe for RNG. But again, it's this idea that Ashe no longer has this place where she's about like the big crit damage. You know, we still saw ridiculous damage. I think Chelly did 53% of his team's damage when OMG faced Team WE, but it's about early game when those towers fall, when it's a single team fight away from snowballing into a Baron or a Rift Herald or a Vital Dragon. Ashe can change the course of the game with a single ability. So from that perspective and her role and responsibility to a team, I still put her right up there with the likes of Lucian, but just again, very different roles and responsibilities to what they're offering for teams.
Oh yeah, in the words of Ashe, all on one arrow. Let's see if they can make it happen in this game. Vici on the opposite side, Soraka was the final pickup from LGD. Now, what was the Kingdom Hearts bottom lane? Because you were casting that game and I've forgotten.
It was Soraka Yasuo.
Soraka Yasuo.
Because it was Sora
yes.
Riku.
Yes, it was. No Yasuo this time, unfortunately. I was ready for some Kingdom Hearts, but we'll get the Lucian alongside it.
And the idea is that with the Soraka and the Lucian, you're going to have so much push priority. Now, Ashe can lane with Tahm Kench quite easily because she obviously has her volley, her ability to shove you in, to pick at you underneath the tower. But Soraka with Q level 1 and then Lucian at level 2 with his skirmishing ability against a melee support like Tahm Kench, this could be a very volatile lane depending on how it's played, which PYL messed it up last time, so we'll see if it evens out a little bit more this time around.
Very true. We also have to think about those solo laners as well, because we obviously saw LGD with winning lanes in top lane, mid lane, and honestly bottom lane to a certain extent as well. This time we're going to see the Darius actually facing down the Aurelia, so similar stuff coming out.
Surprise, surprise, pulling was it Faker the first guy who pulled out the Darius into
Probably,
the Aurelia?
I mean, let's be honest,
I'll
Faker
give him
is
the
usually
credit.
one who is innovating in the mid lane when it comes to counter matchups in the mid lane.
He could use some good news right now.
That's true, yeah. He's got a lot of time to think about it.
Pretty dire over there.
Sorry, Faker. I love you.
Sorry, Faker senpai.
Alright, so let's see, LGD. Will you be able to replicate the success from game 1? Because I would like to say yes.
Well, my issue is how different the jungle matchup has changed.
Yes.
Amy on Skarner is just a completely different beast versus Amy on Talia. One of those champions is infinitely more powerful than the other. So, especially now looking at Swift on his signature pick of Nidalee, can Amy undo the key to success for Vici, which is their jungler on Swift?
For sure. I mean, the question really in the early game is like, where is Swift going to be going? Is he going to affect these solo lanes? Is he going to look towards bot lane? Look for a gank path. All right, audience, I need you to step it up as we get into the second game. Give LGD your energy.
I mean, frankly, I'm just impressed. You know, you can't keep Hangzhou down. They've suffered so much. I know you you
That's true.
you don't really know traditional sports references, but I think of LGD as like the Detroit Lions. For the longest time, that team was just bottom of the barrel. They played every day on Thanksgiving. They had Joey Harrington as one of their quarterbacks. He spent more time face down on the field than his offensive lineman. The quarterback's not supposed to be face down, Pulse.
Okay.
But
I was like, isn't that the normal position?
the fans kept coming back. They were hungry for it.
And those are some real fans, you know, someone who is with a team through thick and thin.
Good hot sauce. That's what LGD make. They make great hot sauce. So if you're not a fan of the team, be a fan of the hot sauce.
Yeah. Alright, Red Buff going to be started off here by Swift on the bottom side of the map. He's going to be taking Electrocute. On the opposite side, we're going to see Amy right here take the Predator on Skarner.
And again, we talk about how it's all about Swift for Vici Gaming. They recognize that. They're saying it's double range that we're facing across in Sora as well as Lucian. So we're not going to pretend that we're going to have access to this bottom lane. We've got Tahm Kench, we've got Ashe. We'll give you priority of the lane and make sure that we slingshot our jungler off to a very healthy start, because he got screwed in game number 1.
Oh yeah. That's for certain. Fire Rain, this is probably one of the only times I will forgive you for starting E on Irelia right here into the Darius, but I still think Q would have been better. Amy is going to pick up his own Spy right here while also setting up his Crab and get the stun down.
Kind of interesting. I was going to say, this is really risky for Amy because he gave away his position. So Swift knew that he was looking for the Scuttle Crab, and before he took that, he actually was fairly low health. So if Swift had just been slightly faster, that could have really punished Amy there if he died that early on. So while it worked out for him, again, that's one of those scenarios where you just take a snapshot, and as the coach, you go back to Amy and you say, this could have gone so differently. Why take the shrine there? I mean, obviously you're empowered to fight over it, and if you want the crab, maybe the mentality is, if he challenges me for this, I have the shrine, so I'm going to win anyway. But a single spear, especially against an Italy, could completely change the course of this game.
100%. And Amy right there committed to the what I like to call the challenger dodge, which is you don't juke at all, and you just continue in the straight line, because Swift was expecting the juke, which could have actually turned into, if not a kill, pushing him out of the jungle.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Swift automatically knew it. As soon as he saw where Skarner was, he was like, okay, Hunt's on, baby. Free buffet.
I'm coming. But no Scorpion on the menu tonight for this Cougar. Though what Swift will get is some of the camps in the jungle, and that's going to be started off with these Krugs in the top lane. Maybe look towards the top lane, but Jinnu is actually being shoved towards the tower here, so unlikely to look for the dive.
It's also very healthy, and he's a Jax. Yeah. That'd be quite scary to attempt to dive right now. I would believe that Swift will just reset his positioning. Nope, we're going on a trip.
We're going on an adventure, Mr. Baggins. And in the top lane, Jinnu, I'm really excited. It's actually my first time casting a Jax on this current meta, and now I want to see him pick up the Essence Reaver either, you know, second or third.
To keep his...
Yes, because apparently you can get it up 3 to 4 times in a 10-second span. Just think about it for a second. Welcome to Season 2 Jax, ladies and gentlemen, where you just have perma-dodge.
Why can't I hit him?
Yeah. I hope you have spells, because if you have auto attacks, then good luck in this game.
Speaking of hitting, Amy has done a great job hunting and tracking Swift here. Now, both junglers know something's up, but Swift is caught unawares.
Nice tag on this one, but Swift has been caught out by Amy. Lots of damage coming down since Nidalee, but we've got a Tahm Kench. Caveman not been in the flash just yet. And actually hold on to that grey health there as well. Caveman will entirely save the situation.
Yeah, Caveman turns it around for Vici, so credit where credit is due, but ultimately, great read from Amy. He makes sure that he gets there early, he places the ward into the Tribe Rush. He naturally wasn't expecting Swift to be there, but just in case, because Amy was starting up his back, so might as well back on bottom side, just to keep PYL and Y4 safe while they're pressing forward, so... Amy's really stepped up. He's cleaning up his play. I like it.
He really had. I mean, this looks like a different player, to be honest. This is night and day play from the summer split to the spring split. But also want to pay attention to the fact that PYL just bodied Snow and Caveman on Raka. That was some battle Raka right there.
Fun fact, PYL, because he's been playing in the LPL for so long, people usually don't remember his signature champions. He's got 2 signature champions, Sona and Soraka. So, it's an OG. It's a classic.
Yeah. It's a long throwback.
It's like... several years throwback.
It's not even Thursday.
2013, baby. I'm gonna stop saying that word.
What?
Baby. I keep looking at you and I'm just like, want to serenade you with some Justin Bieber.
I feel like it's so integrated into your brand at this point that there is no escaping it.
Oh, I do not want that one in the brand. Let's take that out.
Fair enough. Yuki shoving in the rest of this wave. How are we doing Fire Rain? Well, he's on his way back to the mid lane. And it is a cannon wave. Yep, Swift is low on HP, so Amy has a chance to do something here in the bottom river. Looks like he's waiting for a respawn on something or just go for the dragon, but he's level 4. Don't know if he has the damage for it necessarily.
I think he's on Crab. We can't see it on our map because his giant face
he's
is
on
covering.
Crab.
He's on
Yeah,
Crab.
because Crab hadn't spawned at the time, so I think he was waiting for the respawn.
But the way that he was stop and go,
Yep.
looks like he grind the clutch.
Yeah, he stalled out on that one. Y4 and PYL still just constantly pushing this wave in, and look at the CS difference right now. I mean, yes, there's a minion wave still here to resolve, but no doubt PYL will harass them underneath this tower, and it's 39 to 57 just in this 2 versus 2.
And we need to remind everyone that when we saw this work in the LPL, again, RNG, it was a bruiser matchup, but hold on.
Flash forward out from Caveman, he's going to get the gobble off and the spit out onto PYL. See you later, kids. Snow's going to find first blood.
And again, huge credit to Caveman. He was the guy that saved the first gank originally was going south. So almost excited there for a second. And he's the guy that sets up the second gank around to make sure that first blood ends up in the back pocket for Snow there.
Junior's get this whole wave all over to himself. So the bottom lane feels good, man, if you're the bottom lane from Snow and Caveman, because that definitely evens up the gold totals down there.
Yeah, and back to the point that I was bringing up, when Ming and Uzi ran this, it was against a Yasuo and I believe an Alistar. So they already had a range advantage there. They weren't punished so much for having a melee support like a Tahm Kench. Against a Lucian Sora, completely different matchup. Two ranged champions, you see it repeatedly. PYL and Y4 are constantly shoving them, constantly looking at this chip damage through the different Qs and how they're layering them. But that then ultimately leaves them exposed for ganks like that and opportunities for Caveman to find an aggressive flash as a Tahm Kench. And that is a classic weakness of LGD because PYL never wards the river. It was Amy who spotted out Swift on the first ward for the gank. So if you're going to play Soraka, ward your flanks.
I'm not sure to draw too much attention to it, but this is the second time in 2 games where the bottom lane has died first. Now, I don't remember if it was Y4 or PYL, but I think it was PYL dying first last game as well.
Oh yeah, that was the all-in level 1
Correct,
Alistar player.
yeah, being countered by the Rakan, so unfortunate. Him on the top lane, Junior's getting a nice trade here against Aldi. Really nice trade, actually. But there's going to be the jump in towards from Aldi, though he'll go down into the passive. And uh-oh, here's an Amy, and he's got his skewer ready to go. Get away from your tower. I'm going to give this kill to my top laner.
Just bad news bears for Audi there. I like the fact he knows he's got, what, the blood well there, so he goes into the passive. Although, hold on, snipe.
Whoa! Okay, that was...
He smelled it as it came past.
There was some clenching going on there. Junior was definitely going back to base now.
Just took off just the corner of his ear.
Yeah, that's right. Shopkeeper will fix that one up, but oof, that was a little close for comfort. Jinu, he's going to pick up his page.
But back to Audi right there. Unfortunate read on the map. He was looking for the 1v1. It would have maybe not worked out a kill in his favor, but he would have felt good about the trade and then have the incoming creep wave for him. But unfortunately, the Skarner's there, some inappropriate cross-map communication, not keeping track of where the enemy jungler was, and especially not what level the enemy jungler was. And it's such a thorn in his side, I guess is the word that I'll use, because not only did he die to Skarner, but he lost all of those creeps on his tower. So now sitting very far on the back foot in an Aatrox versus Jax matchup as the more binary champion.
Because Jax only will just keep on coming at you, This guy, this is a champion that just doesn't stop. I mean, he has one direction and that's in. And if he's ahead of you, then he will just run you over continuously through this entire game.
But there's also the fact that Jax is also going to offer more towards the team than someone like Aatrox. Yeah. We always talk about Aatrox has so much power in the 1v1, in the ability to split push, because everything that you just said about Jax is true for Aatrox.
Oh, hello, Fire Rain. Getting a little bit spicy here in the mid lane, but you're against the Darius, who's about to look for the execute, and dunked right in the mid lane. He's going to get finished off by Swift, however, with that execute on the takedown, but still a 1-for-1 trade.
That moment when you keep talking about your color point because you don't expect someone to just run into your weakest matchup and just die.
True.
He had to be schooled on that one. He was like, I can beat Darius, right? No, you cannot.
No, you can't. You can
Swift.
Maybe win at level 1, but that's it. Then you scale off. Y4 taking so much damage right here. Swift needs to line up the shot. There it is. Onto Y4! Oh! Just needed one. Didn't even need to Cougar form.
Woo! That was heal on PYL. I just would like everyone to zoom in on their screen right there. If you see summoner spells from Soraka, that spear was flying through the air at a solid 75 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it was cruising, yeah.
He made eye contact with it. He saw it go by. It went right
the head turned like the beluga whale. He was like, oh man, here comes the spear. The harpoon, if you will. Teleport coming into the bottom lane. PY's getting slowed from this one. Amy, he does have the flash and the impale, but he's looking for a potential target because he knows Caveman is here to protect. He would have to be the one that you would jump on, but he's too far away. So play, not going to happen.
TP absorbed right there, however. Now, Aurelia does have some wiggle room then, and she's also got a control ward, so the pathway has already been set up, and she's just... I'm coming, baby! Damn it, I said I was going to get rid of that word. I need a different one. Give me one.
Babe. Technically different. Not again. Not like this, Y4. Don't do this to me. They're waiting for the minion wave.
Give him a good licking.
Something is up. No, right in with the exhaust and the slowdown, right into the spear and the follow-up as well. Did you really need to do that, Caveman, with the BM Devour?
No, they make sure that he can get the exhaust first, leading with it so he's slower, so it's easier to land the skill shots of both the tongue and the spear.
I'm not referring to that, I'm referring to the fact that Caveman styled at the end. It was just like, and I've still got my Devour. Here we go.
So Swift has completely turned the tides of this bottom lane. Again, PYL, Y4 constantly forward, constantly using the power of their duo champions, left them exposed, and Swift ravaged them alongside Caveman. First blood to Ashe, the first tower being taken down. Yes, they sacrificed the Rift Herald, but they do manage to trade for the Mountain Dragon. So still a great position for Vici and a completely different look from game one.
For sure, they've bounced back, and again, that's something that we never really would have seen out of a spring Vici, or hell, even a 2017 Vici. To be honest, it would have just been more of the same. Mid lane would have stayed in mid lane, farming it up, and the side lanes wouldn't have done anything.
And this is what Vici have needed for so long. And again, Easy Hoon, world champion, no disrespect, but Vici needed a playmaker. They needed a faker, and they got an Easy Hoon. So now with Swift on the roster, this has been the missing piece, the cherry on top, the dude who's actually going to do something.
And I think I just want Swift to embrace the fact that he is the carry more. Do an SOFM, right? Like, do more of this. Pick up the Nilly, pick up this one as Impale comes down onto the Defiant, dancing Irelia, but she is already dead, and she knows it, I should say, as the dunk comes in, as well as the Herald.
Yeah, and it's the fact that it's, Shelly, excuse me, I almost said Scully, but I was like, where's Mulder? It's a 2-for-1 special because Shelly's going to get a full charge onto this tower, take it down simultaneously while Jinnu is taking down the top lane. So all of the good things that happened for Vici, it's just a single slip up because again, LGD managed to get underneath their vision line, which is actually quite surprising. Because look at all the top side wards. It seems like Vici Gaming's continuous problem is their inability to keep track of different pieces. So it tells me that they're not communicating across the map clean enough. I would love to sit in on Vici's comms and just listen to how they're talking to each other.
Jinnu is well aware of what happened to Y4. Are you kidding me? The lead coming in from Snow is huge.
No!
Follow up. There is no escape from these javelins, and Caveman here is here for a lick.
It's dodgeball. There's just wrenches flying everywhere.
Dodgeballs don't usually stun you though from cross map.
It does if it's a wrench and it hits you hard enough. You're going down.
Depends where it hits you, right? But Vici are going to get themselves yet another kill, this time onto the top laner. And it goes from bad to worse. It's these constant picks coming in, and at the spearhead is Swift.
All I'm going to say is that if they continuously throwing out all these volleys and these arrows and these spears, the next person to actually like land it for a kill shot gets to be Patches a Hooligan. That was a pop culture reference way over your head?
Yeah, it's completely over.
That's okay, it's a Vince Vaughn film. Okay,
that's fine. I got the X-Files one though, and to be honest I was going to follow up on
How do you get the 90s X-Files one, but you don't get the dodgeball reference?
Because memes for us. But the point is, because we have Shelly, and I feel like that's the Western one, but we don't have an Asian version.
Ours is Mulder.
So, I mean, we could have Scully or Mulder. I think that's fine. Nice steal away there, and that will go over to Swift on the blue buff.
He had to get something back. And they're actually going to try to turn this tempo around and run it straight back down the mid tower. Which, LG are actually out of position for this. It's just Lucian. He's probably going to have to use his ultimate. Yep, he's got it. He's like, haha, you don't even force it. I don't even need to use the ultimate.
I mean, it's the mind game on mind game right there, which is like, if you step up, I'm going to use culling, and if you back away, then I don't have to.
Oh no!
But PYL's going to get caught out to flash forwards, but you're caught in the Equinox. Here comes K-Man, a hero, and Amy, he's following up, but the rest of the team doesn't want in, and Jinnu, what was that? Now he's looking for the initiate, but it was a little bit of a kite back there.
They still have arrow. Ash arrow.
Charging up the stun, and there it is, right on to Jinnu's face. He'll fall, and Amy looking to be followed up on. Another fantastic spear from Swift will secure the second.
Looking for more fish in a barrel, and suddenly the momentum has changed. Vici now charging straight back down the mid lane. Looking for blood.
Swift raining down hell from the sidelines. Dodges it, and bobbing and weaving through his minion wave. He just can't miss. Spear after spear after spear. He's frozen the game, and Swift will break open the mid lane tower with his team.
And showcasing again why this is a signature pick for him. This is often permabanned away from him, even when Nidalee's not in meta.
Man, he has just caused a disturbance in space and time right now.
I'm really digging this PowerPoint feature right now.
That spear won't connect, so of course we're going to go back to there being no issues, because it was the Matrix breaking down right there. It's like, surely a single man cannot connect this many javelin tosses
can't
in
win
5
a game?
seconds.
What?
Yeah. And everything's back to normal, don't worry about it. Y4 is going to push in this mid wave once again and continue funneling farm into him. 140 farm right now, but it starts off again with Swift.
I would say that where PYL has failed mechanically earlier on in this game, that was actually quite a nice mechanical play. To flash away and then immediately have the silence there, so it was hard for Swift to immediately follow up and try to find the kill shot there. And because Soraka is able to stay alive for so long, it means that this fight isn't a complete whitewash. Now, Swift does find a lot of spears on the back half of that, but PYL did his job. He got the wish down, he's thrown some healing, and ultimately if his team could just bob and weave, they would have walked away okay.
That's fair. I mean, also a lot of these spears are coming out of Fog of War, because the vision's coming in after the fact, not the setup for these fights from LGD, and I feel there needs to be just more flank vision. I mean, to go back to what we were talking about in laning phase, PYL wasn't really warding in the laning phase and is continuing not to do so out of laning phase.
This is the mud wrestling of the LPL. You want vision? We don't need vision in our kiddie pool filled with jello. We're just here for the good old-fashioned entertainment, and that spear's flying out of nowhere and just killing people.
Uh-oh, Amy is doubling down on this play. Where's the rest of the team though, Amy? It's coming in from the bottom side of the river, and the wish is good, but Caveman is still following through on this one. Jinu in by himself, and he's caught out by the Vanguard's edge. Snow will find a kill onto Amy, and this is Jack trying to run away from the play as Yuki is going to meet him in the death chamber. 2-for-1 special, 4 kills to Vici.
And Swift just went man mode on the bottom part of this fight. He's still in it.
And Y4, he's just trying to figure out what do I do right now. The spear misses, but hey, there's an Aatrox here as well. And that is an ace at 17 minutes.
2v1 Swift on the bottom side of the fight. Everyone across from Vici learning how to team fight. I heard it last week from, I think, both Rusty and Clement. Vici have learned how to team fight. They look much better. When their composition is organized, when it has a clear-cut goal, when Swift is able to be that bridging point to get them to the mid-game, to get them into the late game, Vici look like a completely different team. You shut him down, you shut down Vici, but it seems like he's still got some answers.
Swift is absolutely the protagonist of the Vici lineup. This is absurd, and I really want to follow his pathing in this team fight.
Okay, so he's going to run across the team fight, and then basically everyone on the bottom side of the map, him and Ash just against the world. But look at that Cougar! He's 2-man team!
2v1! Breaks vision, turns onto Y4. Ridiculous.
And just corralled him. Corralled him like a cat into the waiting arms of Caveman and Aatrox.
It was elegant play coming out from Swift.
That is not a word that I would use to describe these teams, but we're going to ship it.
Yeah. Just the one player for us. Just give me that. It's 1/10.
I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah,
I would say
been a good series
let's
so
not
far.
do elegant. Let's just do enjoyable. You know, I'm a fan of jelly wrestling from time to time.
That's fair. I felt like gracefulness in League of Legends is definitely something you can attribute to champions, like combo champions like a Nidalee or like Riven. Like, they can be graceful, and I think that's what Swift has done this game. 8-0 for 2 AP items, and now a QSS.
When there's so many moving parts on a champion, because you're so quickly moving back and forth between all of your abilities, your human form, your cougar form, I absolutely do agree.
Fluidity matters.
Yeah, there's like a dance to how she's played, and you know, meeting a Jace player like the caliber of Khan, or a Nidalee player like the caliber of
PYL.
Oh, we got away!
Passes out of the way, and Y4 takes it to the back of the head.
Let it be known, Y4, he couldn't dodge that one because Ming would have taken it for him. He's like, I've never been hit by an arrow before. Normally my support jumps in the way for me.
And PYL jumps out of the way. That is the difference.
Listen,
he learned the hard way.
I'm the captain now. Learn your place.
Look at me. Okay, well, I guess he's flashless now for this next team fight, which happens to be a Baron setup here from Vici, which is, again, bad news bears.
That just means that he needs to stay way back, which PYL has already gotten the memo.
As
Look at his positioning. He's got Skarner in front of him. He's like, okay. No, PYL, further back. There you go. Yeah, Soraka, giant target on her face. And it looks like LGD are going to continuously try to look for these 5v5s. So Vici have gotten full control of the Baron. Naturally, they don't want to take a 50-50 Baron, and there's still a lot of skirmish potential. Like, this is not a clear-cut game despite the 8k gold difference, because a lot of it is on a champion like Nidalee versus a champion like Aatrox or Aurelia. So if the spears don't hit, a lot of that gold doesn't matter.
And Yuki has been caught on the Brush Vanguard's edge, and he is a dead Darius. Get off the court. You've been benched.
But Nidalee being so powerful does mean it's that much easier to move into the jungle and secure vision and picks like that because you can always just check with the Q.
Vici will turn their attention to this Baron now. LGD sat in some brushes, but they are just so starved of vision right now. There's like 17 wards in that brush just above that red buff there.
Every angle is covered. There are 4 wards in that bush.
Yeah, that's disgusting. PYLY4 pushing towards this one slowly, but Amy, like, he's just being pushed away by Swift by his Lonesome, and Swift can very quickly get back towards the Baron because he's Nidalee, can jump over these walls. Or he can just kill the enemy jungler, that's fine too.
There could still be a steal, however. There's no smite in the pit.
Yeah, this is scary, and I don't know why Vici is still hitting the Baron. Oh, because they're turning onto LGD behind the pick. Caveman finds the support combat kill onto Soraka right there, and Jinu kiting away. He jumps back towards this, but gives enough time for this to get back to the Baron, spite it down. And Jinu, he is down for the count. Aldi with the poke over the wall right there, and LGD backing it away. Darkflight finds 2, and Yuki, he's only just come back up, and he's about to go back down 6 feet under. 4 kills to Vici.
And the only thing that's unfortunate for Vici here is that they have to run all the way back down mid lane to try to find these minions. Swift doesn't care. He's literally in the base running towards the bottom side. You can't jump. Oh.
You can. Froscoin's mind literally just blown just now.
So I used to be a Nidalee main, but when they changed her, I just hated the champion. Yeah. Never played her again. And I would crash into that wall every single time, and now I'm just so happy.
They changed the way that you jump over the walls. It's just it moves towards the cursor now instead of where you're lined up to.
Oh, no, I know the change. Just because I got very good at programming yourself. You'd use your stop key to make sure that Nidalee was always facing the right direction.
Did you ever try the ward trick?
Yes.
Yeah. You can place, for anyone who doesn't know, you can place a ward over a wall that you want to jump over. Your character turns that direction, and you can use that to hop over.
So it's a very quick hop if you're putting in a lot of APMs.
It is indeed. And we can see this again, where it's just the Ash Hour over the wall, and Caveman like, this one's mine.
And it's just so casual from Swift. The fact that he was able to zone out Amy, you can see that he's taken him down to about 25% HP, manages to corral all the way around, get back into the pit in time for the smite, and then just clean up the back path. It frankly looks like a solo kill game for Swift. He is actually just having fun.
He's smurfing. He is actually just smurfing.
9-0-7.
This is meant to be a professional game, but we're 23 minutes in, and you're absolutely right, Fuss. I mean, 9-0-7 is a crazy scoreline. And third item, he's gone 30 things. He's like, I don't even need any more down. I'm just like, I'm going to get a bit more AP, but I'm going to support the team as well. I'm going to just do it all.
And it's the fact that some of the gold has been spread around. You're still looking at insane assist potential from the rest of his team. They've got their item breakpoints, and they are storming down mid lane, looking at game 3.
Vici take down the mid lane inhibitor, looking towards the bottom lane here as well. And Yuki, the only one who can really step up and allow PYL just to basically battery heal him at this point. Vici, it's a little bit scary though, they separated on their way out, but really this just shows the mentality from LGD. They see the enemy team split with Snow and Aldi on the opposite side of the wall, and it's like, nope, this isn't the time.
Still playing it very safe, however, not trying to push their luck. I mean, ultimately, they took the 2 inhibs, so there's no reason for them to be there. But if they do find a single kill there, especially with the Ash Arrow available, that's game-ending. So Vici still staying true to the roots, saying, okay, there's still another inhib to be taken. We can quickly grab these other standing towers and not trying to force their hand too soon.
That's fair, but there's also a thing where it's just like, sometimes you just want to cut your losses, you know, screw this noise, we're just going to go in, end the game, reset for the 3rd game, you know, instead of losing fights.
All eyes are going to be on Snow.
Yep.
Because we're just basically waiting for an arrow and a spear to connect, and then it's going to be go time.
You're just missing the apprehend there real quick. It's going to be about a 10-second cooldown on that one. PYL bringing up the back, and Y4 already low, down to half out of mana. And there's the arrow onto Amy. He gets exploded on the front lines. Jinu into the back, but the rest of his team is getting destroyed by Aldi. 4 quick kills to Vici, 21 kills in just as many minutes. And they move on to the Nexus turret. Vici fire back on all cylinders and take game 2.
And out of 21 kills on the board, Swift had 11 of them. Complete 0 deaths, a total whitewash, and Vici, who had looked just dismantled in game number 1, bite back with Nidalee.
I mean, what else can we say for us? I mean, I think it's obvious to us, it's obvious to the teams, and indeed the viewers that Swift was the star of this show, and he absolutely, deserves the MVP, but give him more carries.
I mean, this story couldn't have ended any better, and it's not even over. We're going to game 3. The 2 winless teams right now, both 0 and 3, looking for the redemption story, understanding that something is wrong with the roster. We need to blow it up. We need to grab other people. We grab people like Fire Rain, like Snow. We grab someone like Swift on the other side. Okay, get Y4 in here. Grab Yuki. Goodbye Imp. You know, all of these drastic and dramatic changes. So who's going to reap the rewards first?
I mean, we're 1-1, so some stuff is working, some stuff is not working for both teams right here. Flask in 25 minutes exactly. I like it. But yeah, it was a couple of things wrong with LGD, and we didn't get a chance to talk about item builds, but I wasn't really sold on Yuki gunning towards an instant Triforce in the mid lane. I mean, it makes you way too squishy. If you're looking towards win conditions later on, it's going to be you, Darius, and you need to stay alive.
I mean, ultimately the issue was that even if Yuki had won, and even if Amy had done better.
It's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, one of them failed at certain points. So we did not get to see the strong 2v2 between the jungle mid that we saw in game number 1 that was just so effective against Vici's win condition, which is their jungler. So again, it felt like LGD had a perfect game plan going into this series. Okay, it's about Swift, control the pick that he's on, empower Amy, make sure that he tracks him. And game 2, it looks a little bit less clear. Did they simply get lucky because the OP jungler Talia was left open? Or were LGD intending to do that from the very beginning? Because if not, that's what you gotta do. Do not give this guy a carry-oriented champion.
Yeah, there was a lot of big things that went wrong, but on the smaller scale, there were also a couple micro mistakes there from LGD. We'll see how many of those they can actually patch up. For now, though, we are going to head to a quick break before we get into that third and final game in the set.
危机眼中的奇迹是用军血浇灌过后的开花结果。